Good day. This is Mr. Anderson. Question: what are you doing with your time? How are you spending your time? What benefits are you getting from the things you're doing with your time? What things are you wasting your time on? What people are you wasting your time on? What direction are you spending in time? Does that make sense? If that makes sense or not. But my mind is set on time management right now. I'm really looking back at all my years spent in certain things, whether it been jobs, relationships, friendships, career choices, things that I'm doing, time with my children, time away from my children, time scrolling on social media, YouTube, like really looking at my time. I canceled an interview today for a driver manager. And my reasons was time management. It was a 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. And it was like 35 minutes from my apartment. And I'm thinking about, is it worth my time? Because I know, and it was like a company that I applied for before, and it seems like that company bought this company, and I got rejected from, I think I probably would have got that job for that company, but the salary wasn't what I wanted. I mean, it was nowhere near where I wanted. And it's like, I'm not finna time management. I'm not finna use my time like that for something for that amount of money. Because I want to be able to be free to do other things as well. Because in today's society, and I'm going to try to keep this quick and fast, you have to have multiple sources of income. Because everything is inflated right now. So your time is getting deflated because you're not, I mean, this goes to people who's trying to do better, or want to do better, or want to align themselves, want to try something new. I had great conversations, 2-3 great conversations today while I was doing Uber. And one of the guys that he actually just got out maybe 30 minutes ago, that he got offered an opportunity to live here in Franklin and build a apartment complex or something that he was contracted to do, and he got offered the position. And so he was like, he would try it out to see, but he has a son and his wife, and he was telling me about the situation and why he chose to move, chose to try it out and to see. He was worried about his son and his wife, and they're moving from a whole nother state to a state, but it was just an opportunity. It was like a nice contract. It was an extended contract. And he got to talking about the time with his son. And he said he sat down, and his son actually came up to him and was like, well, Dad, I don't want you to hold back, because his son was busy with sports, band, his life, his social life practices. So he was like, there's there's no need for you to be here. Not in that sense. He was like, no, don't hold yourself back because of me, because when you're here, you're asleep and I'm gone, or I'm asleep and you're gone. So it's like we really miss each other. And then it got me thinking. I was like, I've heard that. I was like, it's not quantity, it's quality. And then he said that was the exact same thing his son said. It's like, it's not the quantity of you being here, it's the quality. I'd rather you do what you do and you come back and you're happy and you're free, and we can go do things. Our children need us. That's one thing about time. That time with our children, the quality time, not just the amount. It's about the quality of time that we have. It's cherished by our children, by our spouses, by our family, by our being. So that's one of the things that I was saying. Like, what are you spending your time on? How are you spending your time? And then that also turned into him seeing his son grow up as a man. Like, you're realizing responsibilities, and that's you building. And that's why I was like, man, you build him up to that moment. That's quality time, to see that, to see him growing, and all our children. And it's just what are we spending our time on? And then when I go back to that job that I declined, or the interview that I just canceled, it's like, it just really wasn't worth my time. It really wasn't worth my time, because I'm spending 10 hours, a day doing that for not even, so I can make whatever. It just wasn't worth it. Let me just say that. I won't get too deep into it, but it wasn't worth it. It just really wasn't worth it for me. And that's what I'm looking at. What is worth my time? What is worth? Because I spent the first half of my life on certain things, and when I look back at it, I'm like, man, what truly benefited me? And I look at everything as there's something to gain, there's something to get benefits from, but you have to be aware. You have to understand. And that's what I try to tell my son. I'm like, just because you're working at this place doesn't mean that that's where you're going to be for the rest of your life. But you can use those tools that you're learning, the speed, the knowledge of the surrounding of you being there, to your favor, to grab knowledge and information from. People gonna be people. There's just people gonna be people. You're gonna have some good people, you're gonna have some crazy people. And then that's the other part about that questions, who are you wasting your time on? Don't waste your time on people that's negative. Don't waste your time on people that's got chest stuck out and they want to be the big show. And move on. And it takes me back, this is not to disrespect anyone or nobody or down shame, but I thought about this a long time ago, and it just hit me not too long ago, that when I was going to school at ITT, and I was waiting tables at a fine dining restaurant in Tunica. And I really didn't take that job serious, yet the people would get on to me. Well, an older lady would kind of get on to me because she could see I didn't really take it serious. But then it made me realize, you're older than me. This is your livelihood. I'm going to school. So it didn't affect me as much, but I understood the severity in her life for her to go through that, to do that, because that's your source of income. But I'm going to school. You know, I'm going to school for something totally different than what I'm there for. Yet it didn't realize that, but I didn't apply my knowledge in certain sense. Yet I did learn in my surroundings. I learned how to cook because I was back there with the cooks a lot of times, asking questions about cooking steaks and shrimp and, you know, mixing drinks and time management. They were like, that was one of the big things. They was like, you know, you have to let me know when your appetizer's out so I can start the preparation of cooking the steaks, the prime rib, because they have to be a certain temperature. I don't want them to go out there overcooked. I don't want them to go out there undercooked. So it's time management. And see, now that I think about that, I ain't even realized that was time management. But I was just looking at the skill of cooking. That fascinated me, just cooking a steak. I don't think I even, at that point, had a steak in my life that I know of. To ever, you know, that I think I don't even know that. But anyway, it's time management. It's very important. Look at your time. Keep your time with the children, your time with your spouse, your time. Put the phones down. You know, put distractions away. Get rid of wasteful energy that you don't need. You know, look at your time spending it on the TV. Look at your time spending in video games. Look at your time spending it certain things. Is that really what aligning with your purpose, or is that just something to distract you? Which is that's another story. Understanding that too. That could be something to kind of calm you in certain times. So you have to manage your time wisely. Understand what is worth your time. You know, I recently had a friend of mine that was going to get her CDL license, and she probably gonna be mad when I say this. I was gonna get on to her because the weekend she said she didn't prepare and she wasn't ready and all that, and I'm thinking to myself, what did you do? What did you do? What's more important at that time? Is it Valentine's Day, or is it, I understand, might be your birthday, but what's more important? And I look at the longevity of certain things. If I'm getting signs that something's not going to work, then I'm not going to be it. I'm not going to be around that person. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be there. That's just, I guess, I'm cold-hearted in some sense, and I guess everybody should be. Certain times you got to let go. But anyway, you got to let it go. With all that being said, after studying and after, I don't even know what she did, but I know she probably buckled down after she felt some type of way and was like, look, I gotta focus on this, and then she passed. But it's up to you. It's up to us to understand management of our time, management of our resources, management of our knowledge, of our downtime. Your downtime. What are you doing on your downtime? I very rarely do anything on my down when I'm alone. I'm tired for most part of it. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. You know, I want to close my mind out to a lot of stuff, even though my mind stays open when I'm asleep sometimes. But that's me, and that's something that I'm growing through. And I'm making the decisions that I'm making based off of where I know I'm going. You know, I love day trading. I day trade every day. I've been doing very well day trading. It's demo accounts, but I'm now it's time for me to start actually putting money where my thoughts are. My mind is, and my mind is on it. Let me put $20, $10, $20, $30. I get questions asked all the time about day trading from people, or, you know, especially starting these new jobs and these little small part-time jobs that I do. You know, people want to talk, you know. And then when I know I'm a very intelligent man, I'm a confident man, you know, I'm working on a lot of that through time. Yeah. You know, everyone wants to do better, but at what are you willing to sacrifice? What time are you willing to sacrifice to dedicate yourself to this? The other Uber guy I had in here, he said he wasted his time and people stole money from him from business. He was young guy, so he's doing taxes. He's going through for free and helping people and hopefully building taxes. And he was like, man, that he's looking at people's things, so he's trading his free time because he know at the end of the day it's going to earn him more. So it's just like you have to think about that stuff. You really got to think about that stuff. But I don't want to hold you. Time management, man. Take your time to understand your time. Create your time. Save time. I'm sitting here charging. I'm doing this. Thinking, creating, visualizing, mapping my time out. This is Mr. Anderson, and I approve this message. Time.